All right, so I just got done watching a video from what's my man name? Town Biz, Showbiz, the adult or whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about. Dude is hilarious. I remember watching a video he did on Big Baby Miller when it came to that drug testing shit. That shit was hilarious. But anyways, he made a video something along the lines of Javante Tank Davis is now hunting down Lomachenko. And I'm watching the video and whatnot, and I'm thinking to myself, I was like, as much as I like his channel and as hilarious as he is, this has got to be one of the most idiotic things he have said, because you can't give Javante Davis credit for pursuing Lomachenko when in the process of doing that, he did it because he was ducking Tevin Farmer. So in order to avoid Tevin Farmer, he moves up. So therefore that pays forward and give him a half credit with trying to pursue a Vasily Lomachenko fight. That don't make sense, man. You can't go from being a person and saying, look, I'm not ready. Look, I need time. I need time to develop. I'm not in a rush. That's the same thing Leonard Ellaby saying. That's the same thing Floyd Mayweather saying. You can't go from that person to now being the pursuer or the hunter. You've been the ducker this entire time, okay? You don't change for being a ducker, meaning you don't get credit for trying to challenge one person by ducking another. You know what I'm saying? You still a ducker. And that leads me to say that Javante Davis is not going to fight Vasily Lomachenko because Vasily Lomachenko has not deteriorated enough. I guarantee you, when Leonard Ellaby and Al Hammond seen that fight, said, okay, he almost on his way. He almost on his way. Not yet, Tank. Not yet. Not yet. Vasily Lomachenko is still holding on to too much of his bearings still for Javante Tank Davis to take a fight like that. And why would you expect him to take a fight with Vasily Lomachenko when he ducked a fight with Tevin Farmer? Let me say that again. How can you expect him to take a fight with Vasily Lomachenko when he ducked Tevin Farmer? He ducked $7 million, man. $7 million. This is what I want everybody to do, and I'm going to do it too. Let's track Javante Tanks Davis' next 2 fights, or even his 3 fights. I guarantee you, whatever he gets paid will not add up to $7 million. I guarantee you, it will not add up to $7 million. Not with only having 550,000 views. You know what I'm saying? For your fights, that ain't gonna cut it. That ain't gonna cut it. And it's the same thing with Wilder. Wilder, where are you gonna get another 120 million yet? Has Al set you down and tell you where that coming from? Have you called Al up and say, hey, yo, Al, you know that 120 million that I turned down? When am I gonna get that? And how am I gonna get that? You know what I'm saying? And while they're at it, they need to sit Luis Ortiz down and say, Luis Ortiz, so when are you going to see another 8 million? When? With who? And how? When? You don't know. See, they got these guys turning down these fights with no replacement. It's this thing that you do when you're giving people, or when you're trying to judge somebody. It's like this little rule. It's like when you're looking at somebody's lifestyle and you're telling them to change it or they should do something else, you have to have an alternative suggestion to supplement what you're asking them to take away or remove from their life. Meaning you can't come and tell somebody not to do something without providing them a replacement to not do that with. You know what I'm saying? Like, you guys need to go do this. You guys need to go do that. And they'll turn to you, okay, well, tell me where I can go to do that. You'd be like, you're not supposed to do that. You can only really judge a person like that when you have an alternative option. When you're not just there bearing down on them talking shit. You have to have an alternative option for them. Therefore, what you're saying is just rhetoric. So what is the alternative option to not taking this form of 20 million from these group of people? We'll get 120 million from these group of people. have he showed you your alternatives, your other options? If you do not have other options of 120 million, if you do not have other options of 8 million, if you do not have other options of 7 million, then you shouldn't be turning down money that you never made before. Period. You shouldn't be turning it down. So Gervonta Davis moving up to 135 to avoid Tevin Farmer, but lands right on the mandatory list of Vasily Lomachenko. Once again, I got to bring everything back to the famous Errol Spence. And this is another thing that I want to notice. None of these PBC fighters talk greasy unless they drunk. When Errol Spence mentioned that, oh, it's true, he's across the street, it's all smoke and mirrors, he was drunk. Half the time Tank Davis called out Vasily Lomachenko, he was drunk. You know what I'm saying? Like, alcohol runs away with these people. But another reason why I say that, why y'all don't need to be worried about no Vasily Lomachenko, Gervonta Tank Davis fight, because in the words of Errol Spence, he's across the street. Vasily Lomachenko is across the street. So let me get this straight. Y'all look forward and give Gervonta Tank Davis semi-credit for appearing to want to do something. Okay? You give him semi-credit for appearing to want to do something. But when we try to pursue a Terrence Crawford Errol Spence fight, the main roadblock is he's across the street. Okay? But last time I checked, Top Rank has the only 2 top pound-for-pound fighters on their roster, and that is Vasily Lomachenko and Terrence Crawford. Something that Errol Spence, quote-unquote, says is across the street. You know, so how is Gervonta Davis going to cross the street and Errol Spence can't? It's the same thing I said back with Timothy Bradley and Errol Spence. How they trying to make a fight with Timothy Bradley? Wasn't Timothy Bradley also across the street? Like I say, all that PBC talk don't make no sense once you start lining it up next to each other. None of that stuff makes sense. How is Gervonta Davis going to fight Vasily Lomachenko when Vasily Lomachenko is quote-unquote across the street? Now do you see how stupid across the street sounds? You see the way you looking at me sideways because I'm saying that Vasily Lomachenko is across the street? It sounds weird, don't it? Exactly. That's how unnatural that across the street shit sound. Just let me say, Vasily Lomachenko is across the street. He can't fight Gervonta Tank Davis because of what PBC rules say and because what Al Heyman say. They're on a different network and they don't work together. Plus, leave it up to Tim Bradley. These guys have never done business anyway and don't plan on doing business. That's why Timothy Bradley couldn't fight PBC fighters. And that was back when Timothy Bradley was fighting. Okay? His ass is retired out and that shit's still going on. So how do you expect a Gervonta Tank Davis Lomachenko fight? This is why I say I didn't want Loma to call his name. Of course, that got Lomosexuals pissed because they're mad because he can't beat up on a pillowcase. You know what I'm saying? And that's actually what it is. I've never seen a group of people want somebody to fight somebody who the opponent is blatantly scared. Like I said, I always bring it back to this, man. The only reason why y'all want Lomachenko to fight Tank Davis is because of Floyd Mayweather's name, man. You can't, there is no denying that. It's because of Mayweather's name. Because in some sick, freakish fantasy, you never get to see your dream and live out your dream. And I was watching Floyd Mayweather laid out on the canvas and taking a loss. Since you don't get to see that dream, your next best nut off is to watch Lomachenko beat up on Floyd Mayweather's fighters. I know what y'all trying to get y'all rocks off of. But see, while y'all playing that silly ass game and this side playing that silly ass game, Like I said, it's a lot of immaturity going on here. But this is where that cross the road street don't come into play, man. It don't add up right. It don't sound right. Okay? So if it's across the street for Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford, it's across the street for Vasily Lomachenko and Gervonta Tank Davis. Explain to me how that's any different. It's not. It's the same old shit. But one thing's for sure, man. You can't give somebody credit for appearing to pursue somebody while factually ducking somebody else. That's not how that works, man. You know what I'm saying? One hand doesn't wash the other. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't. But I don't know. It's interesting to see in the times to come how things unfold and how people take it. But you should not look forward to a Vasily Lomachenko, Gervonta Tank Davis fight. Why? Because I'm pretty sure you'd be looking forward to that, just like you look forward to a Wilder, Anthony Joshua fight, just like you did with a Crawford Spence fight, just like you did with a Gary Russell Jr., Leo Santa Cruz, or Gary Russell Jr., Gervonta Tank Davis, or Gary Russell Jr., and anything else. You know what I'm saying? They don't make the good fights up front. This is why I say Lomachenko need to say fuck Tank, because he ain't done shit. He really don't deserve it. But people tell me, why? It's a good name. It's a good name. It's a good name. Yet these are the same people that tell me he's a bum and he hasn't fought anybody. But you want this nobody who hasn't fought anybody, who has not earned or deserved a shot, to fight Vasily Lomachenko. But you're upset if I suggest he should fight Teofimo Lopez, somebody who's not scared of him and somebody who thinks he can beat him. No. He needs to earn the shot. So like I said, man, it's both sides, and this shit is just silly at the end of the day. But time will tell. But one thing's for sure, you should not look forward to no Vasily Lomachenko, Gervonta Tank Davis fight. The reason why? Because he's a Hamanite. Okay? All of them speak Alahamic. You know how this story goes. Anyways, that's my thoughts on it. Bruce Vane is out.